26 years old, and in the last year, I've experienced more growth than I have in 25 years combined before that. I've launched a new business, I launched my personal brand, went traveling for the first time, left home, I made a lot of new friends, and I also said goodbye to some old friends. During that year, there was 4 sentences that really stood out to me, and have basically been the foundation of all of that personal growth. These are the 4 sentences. Good morning, a beautiful day here in Crete. Just woke up, saw one of the most beautiful sunrises that I've ever seen. I was so lucky. I got up and could see this completely orange sky, so I was like rushing outside. And I try and have no phone time in the morning, but when you have a sunrise like that, and obviously I've got to film this video, I think once this video is done, I'm going to be just soaking this up for a good hour or so. But this is my morning routine. I come outside, I drink spring water. You might know mastic gum, which is this type of sap that comes from a tree in Chios in Greece, native to Chios, and you can make it into a gum. I found a load of spring water here in glass bottles that come from Chios, and it's got mastic added to it, so been drinking that. We wake up dehydrated, so it's really important to hydrate once you wake up. Added some Cretan sea salt to that, and then I just sit in nature and I soak it up. And this, to me, the morning is like optimal time for me to just get as much time in nature. And I think this is something that's been quite new for me, because I used to work a 9-to-5 office job, and then I started my own business, and I've always been working for sort of like startups and doing my own business and everything, and really obsessed with, like, work is a huge thing for me. So I spend a lot of time on my laptop, and probably in the last year or so is where I've done most of my time outside, just in nature. And the biggest changes for me are just like huge reduction in stress, way more clear thinking, and I've also discovered that I can increase productivity by being in nature and completely stopping all thoughts about work, not thinking about it at all, and then coming back to it with a clear mind, a new perspective. I've also realized that every idea that I've ever had has come from going on a walk, going to the beach, not taking my phone with me this time in the morning. So what I like to do is just come outside, journal, sit by a tree. And I used to think it was hippie, but the effects it's had on my work, my productivity, as well as just my personal life and my mood and how I interact with other people. So nature's a non-negotiable for me, and that's also in my environment. Where I live in the UK and where I'm from, there's some nice places, but it can be quite built up. It's quite near London, so it's important for me. And also the weather's pretty shit in the UK. Environment is so big, and nature is so big for me, that I'm someone that wants to be by the sun, I want to be by the sea, I want to be in beautiful places in the countryside, and that's where my best work happens. I'm fortunate that I can work remotely from anywhere. So right now I'm in Crete and just soaking up the nature. We've got a little cat walking around here, and it's a pretty beautiful spot. Also, some tips that helped me with getting out into nature. One thing I like to do is I train outside, so you'll see that in a bit today when I go and exercise. I found a way to just do all my workouts outside, and that's been a huge thing. I have not had a gym membership since I was about 16. Training under blue light for me is like, I just can't do it. Once you start training outside, and especially under sun, it's just the best thing ever. I started taking 20-minute walks every day without my phone. That's been a big one for creativity. And then just this morning time, journaling outside, that just allows you to get more time into nature, and you'll be able to just feel the benefits of being connected to the earth. Got no gym equipment at all. I found this bar, so if you can get a bar or a tree, it's pretty simple pull-ups. Pulls your hang, core workout. And if you just find yourself a chair or a bench, it's pretty easy just to get some dips off the back of this, your triceps. And you can also do some frog push-ups to make it harder. Use it as leverage.
I like to incorporate a bit of weights into my workout every now and then. I usually have a kettlebell, but of course I can't bring it with me, so I found this rock. It's pretty heavy, it weighs like 15 kilos. But what you can do is use it for rotational power and just swing into it. It's so good for obliques. I play a lot of football, a lot of shoulder barging, so I use that one for obliques, and I usually have a kettlebell. So it's good to use it at rock. You can also do biceps, but you don't need any gym equipment when you can just sort of find it in nature.
Alright, workout is done and I'm feeling good. I love to just get the workout done early in the day so that everything else just feels great, like the endorphins are kicking high and you can just focus on work, enjoying the day, going to the beach, having fun. I try and train every day, which maybe sounds controversial to people, but what I mean is moving the body every day. I think it's such a blessing to be able to move. There's people that struggle to move when they get with old age. There's people that are disabled, aren't fortunate enough to be able to move. And so by moving every day, it's kind of like appreciating what you got. And it's such a blessing. So train every single day. If I train really hard, it doesn't mean I need to go hard the next day. It just means that I need to be mindful of how my body feels and then take the right course of action, whether that's training hard on one day and then doing yoga the next day, or maybe doing 20k of steps or a 30-minute hike, or just going super hard if I feel that I've got the energy. Generally, what that means is I wake up, I assess how I feel, and that's also like another mindful practice, just taking some deep breaths, journaling in the morning, and deciding at that point, okay, today I feel pretty good, I'm going to go smash weights, do some sprints, maybe get some stretching in the evening. And so by choosing what you're going to do in the morning, you're doing the best thing by knowing how you feel and doing what's right for your body. But honestly, train every single day because your body is made to move. And if you stay stagnant and you have rest days, or only train 3 times a week in the gym and you go super hard on those days and then you do nothing for 4 other days, it's going to be so detrimental to recovery. You're going to see less progress, you're going to get stiff when you're older. You need to be moving every single day. Everything at this market is grown on the island and it's huge. This market goes all the way down the road. It's one of the best I've seen, so it's a good find. So I just been to the farmer's market and I'll show you exactly what I got. So obviously you got the raw sheep's milk, raw goat's milk. Picked up a load of vegetables, organic, everything's grown within the town. I've been doing a lot of Greek salads, so I've got cucumbers, tomatoes. There's something about Mediterranean tomatoes that are just like so big, juicy. Yeah, they say it's pretty unreal from Italy and Greece, so I'm excited about that. I've got raw sheep's yogurt from the same guy, and he had a lot of cheese. I didn't pick any up, but the cheese was so good, so I'm going to go back and get some. So much fruit, a lot of nectarines, plums. The apples are they're crazy here. They're so dark red, sweet, so those are good. Cretan thyme, honey, and one way to check if the honey's legit is when you put your finger in or get a spoon. It doesn't break, it just keeps dripping. And so if it breaks, it's been heated and pasteurized. So that was one way that the guy has shown us how it's legit honey. And then I picked up some olive oil. Obviously Greece is known for its olive oil, all from the island. And then this is another balsamic vinegar with honey in it. It's got thyme honey in it. It's literally just grapes, fermented grape musk and honey. And that's going to go onto the salad, onto the meat and everything. And that's it. But what a haul. It's all fresh, all local, all seasonal. I'm excited for that. When it comes to eating food, buying food, there's a few things that I look for. One is finding foods that if I showed it to my great-grandparents, they would recognize it. And generally that's just going to be the fresh produce, the meat, fruit and veg, eggs and things like that. Single ingredients, nothing processed, no bullshit marketing. And the other thing is the seasonal and local aspect of it. If you have fruit and veg that's grown in your area, is seasonal, and it's not been grown artificially, it's going to be a lot easier for your body to digest it, get the nutrients. The nutrients will be more bioavailably accessible for your body, as opposed to fruit that's grown in a different hemisphere at a different time of year. You can get apples in the UK, but you can also get apples from South Africa, and it's a completely different climate there. And your body recognizes that it's not from that hemisphere, it's not from that country, it's from a different time of the year, and it can do damage to your gut, but you also just don't get enough of the nutrients as you would if you had it from a local place. Unfortunately, it's more expensive to get organic produce, but organic generally means there's going to be zero to little amount of pesticides versus the commercial stuff that you get from the supermarkets that probably aren't local, but also covered in things like glyphosate and really disrupt your gut. They disrupt your endocrine system, which are the glands responsible for producing the hormones in your body. And the final aspect is prioritizing protein and nutrient-dense foods in my meals. The reason I do protein is it's the most satiating macronutrient, so I can kind of build the whole meal around the protein. It stops me snacking. It means that I eat more intuitively, and I'm not just eating because it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm eating when I feel hungry, which generally for me is 11 a.m. and about 5 or 6 p.m. I have 2 big meals, and it's all centered around like a steak or grass-fed mince. I try and get some organs into the meal, so it's usually like a little bit of liver, maybe some heart or kidney, depending on what's accessible to me. And this also includes what I cook with. So when I'm using like an oil or a butter or a fat to cook with, I want something that's completely natural, a single ingredient. It's as close to how it is in nature. So things like extra virgin olive oil, butter, beef tallow, and they're going to have other nutrients in. So it's like you can cook in it, it's healthy, but you also get the nutrients and the benefits from what's actually in the healthy fats. One of the biggest changes that I've made that's helped me take control of my diet, just be a lot healthier. Nutrition is such a big aspect of health. It's come from cooking all of my own meals because I can control what goes into it. I know the ingredients. I'm not relying on someone else and having to pray that they don't put some processed foods or processed ingredients into it. And like they say, convenience is the enemy of health. I used to think that your morning routine was everything and setting yourself up for a good day, and I had a 20-step ritual with all these different biohacking gadgets, and it became really difficult to follow and be consistent. And then I kind of realized that what you do before bed and how you set yourself up for sleep is actually a lot more profound in the impact that it's going to have. So the quality of sleep that you have is essentially the foundation of the day, the next day. So what does that look like for me? The biggest needle mover is going to be going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day. We have billions of cells in our body, and they all operate on individual clocks. They all have their own clocks. So if you're going to bed and waking up at different times, it become out of sync. If you go to bed and wake up, you watch the sunrise, you see the sunset, you're lying, you're with nature, you're outside looking at the sunlight, your body starts to sync up, and you get this amazing symbiotic effect of all these billions of cells working together in unison, all aligned on the same clock. So that's probably the biggest impact. Second is just avoiding blue light. I think everyone talks about this now with blue light blockers and not going on your phone. It's pretty obvious, but a good switch for phone time is to read a book, maybe with a candle on. It sounds pretty old school, but my favorite thing is like a beeswax candle. It's non-toxic. You can just have that lit. Otherwise, you can get like red lights to put on that are pretty optimal for just sort of telling your body that it's bedtime, and your body will start to produce the melatonin hormone to put you to sleep. Another one that I don't really see people talking about is having a tidy sleep environment. So either putting your phone outside, not in the bedroom, or putting on airplane mode. If you've got a really untidy room, or you've got dishes that are left done in the kitchen downstairs, that can sit in the back of your mind. So what's quite nice is to actually physically tidy your bedroom, tidy the kitchen, make everything in order, and not just physically, but also mentally. So you can have a mental sort of work shutdown ritual. And I'm someone that works quite late, and I used to just find it so difficult to switch off at night. So what I do is I have a sort of ritual that hits a certain time, put my blue light blockers on, it's all orange lighting in the house, might light a couple of candles or something, and I just journal, and I'll write down the to-do list for the next day so that I feel really organized. It decreases any anxiety of like, oh, I've got to do this, whatever. It's like, I know exactly what I'm going to do when I wake up. I then reflect on the day, and that could be something that's like a big win. It could be an improvement, a learning, or just gratitude for something that happened in that day. And by writing that, I'm sort of in the moment, very present, but I feel so relaxed. And that is my sort of ritual to tell my body that it's time to wind down, grab a book, 20 minutes, and I'm literally deep sleep and I feel great. And that's what sets me up more than the 20-step morning rituals that people talk about.